Oh, I'm way down there. Let me get up here. All right, there we go. Órale, solo choque los tres chingones. Boxing shots to all the chingones y chingonas. All right, man. It is Memorial Day weekend. It is among us. It is here. It's a slow time in boxing when it comes to big, to when it comes to meaningful fights. That is, man. Yes, I know Angelo Leo has a fight coming up here in Japan. Um, David and Mikey, they're taking the week off. So you just stuck with me here today. Going to talk about a few things. Like I said, it's a slow week of boxing, not a lot going on. You got some stuff going on in the land of the rising sun out in Japan. Some pretty cool freedom and stuff over there, man, for all the real boxing nerds. You got Josh Taylor fighting. So, yeah, man. And by the way, I'm really actually enjoying some of these fights that are happening overseas. Some of this stuff is actually a lot more entertaining than what's going on here on this side of the world, man. So, gosh darn it, dog. I'm telling you, man, the Western Hemisphere of the world, man, really needs to step it up when it comes to boxing homes on the real, because it's just not producing like some of this stuff that's happening in other places of the world, man. It's just not. What's up, Anthony Bravo? How you vatos doing? Mikey and David, they're taking the week off. They'll be back next week. PYP Slow, Angelo, Leo Sugar, yes, Josh Taylor. Yeah, that's what I said, man. That's what I said. So I'll be checking those things out, man. But let's go ahead and let's get into a few things. Let's get into some cheese man out there, Holmes. All right. Um, so I had said last week that I had read a report, just one report that Dana White was no longer going to promote Canelo and Crawford. Well, turns out that was actually correct, man. I don't know if you guys know, but the Turk told Dana White, "Hey, man, go promote your UFC." I don't know what they're calling it. Not Noche de UFC or Noche de something. They're gonna do it down in Guadalajara, right? Um, but yeah, when this fight was announced and the Turk came out and he's all like, "Hey man, look, check this out. Dana White, since you're my business boy, since you're my business partner here, junior business partner, of course, um, you're gonna go Noche de UFC. There you go. Gracias, gordo, gordito. Noche de UFC. Yeah. Um, he put Dana White in charge of promoting Crawford versus Canelo. Okay. And I just read in one report that Dana White was no longer promoting that. And it made sense to me. It made sense enough for me to actually bring that up last week, but I couldn't confirm it because they changed the date. They went from Friday, September 12th to Saturday, September 13th. That's the same night of Noche de UFC down in Mexico. And when I read that, I'm like, I think this got some legs on it, man. Maybe Dana White really is out of promoting this fight. Well, it turns out that he is. So he is no longer going to be promoting Canelo versus Crawford. Now there was a lot of criticism with Dana White. First of all, let's get something straight. All right, let me see. Boxing has to be broken when we're excited about it. Oh no, man, I'm excited for that. We'll get to that in a second, man, because I think it's pretty fun. Okay, let's get one thing straight. The Turk and Dana White did not split up and go their separate ways. Okay, it's just this one event. It looks like Dana White is still on board with TKO. It looks like he's still on board with the Turk. It looks like he's still gonna be the Turk's right hand man. All right, because I think people are making too much of this. Like, oh man, there's something going on between them. No, from what I see, is just this one fight, which makes sense, and he's still gonna be part of TKO. Here's the thing, man. A lot of people don't even like the fact that Dana White's even involved in boxing. And the fact that this fight is going to be the biggest fight of the year, Canelo and Crawford. I'm not saying it's going to be the best fight. I was just talking to my barber about this, man. The difference between the biggest fight and the best fight. This is not going to be the best fight. Okay. Is it going to be the biggest fight? Yeah, I believe it is. Um, the fact that the Turk would put Dana White, someone who has little to very, very little experience with boxing, to put him in charge to promote this boxing event. I personally, I didn't really have a problem with it. Look, I don't watch UFC. Okay. I'm not a big MMA guy. If I go somewhere and somebody's watching it, if I go to somebody's pad and they're having a party and it's on, I'll go ahead and I'll watch it. But to say that I keep up with it, no, I don't, man. So I don't really watch much of it. I used to watch the show The Ultimate Fighter. I thought that was badass. I really enjoyed that. Um, I didn't really have an issue with it simply because Dana White, he promotes. Now, it may be a different sport, but he does promote. So if he's gonna be in charge of promoting, yeah, sure, the fan base may be a little different, but his expertise is still there. I don't have a big issue with it. I'm not saying I'm 100% for it. I don't even really know Dana White, honestly, but um, I don't really have a big issue. But the fact that people were having a big issue was the fact that he has little to no boxing experience, promoting boxing experience, and here he is, he's gonna promote one of the biggest fights this year, if not the biggest fight this year. What's up, Puerto Rican Rum? So if you guys don't know, Dana White is out. He is no longer gonna promote Canelo and Crawford. I don't know if that really changes anything, but he'll be back in with TKO after all this fiasco, man. And as it stands right now, there still is no venue. There still is no venue, which gets me kind of thinking this: will they actually move the date? Will they move it to the following Saturday? Will they move it? Now they're shooting for September 13th. Now it was originally September 12th. Then they pushed it to the Saturday. Okay. Can they still move it the following week? I don't think that's off the board. They haven't even picked a venue. So I don't think it's off the board, man, that they might even push this sucker to the following weekend. It's still around the Mexican Independence Day, which is the 16th, which lands what on that Tuesday. Let's see. I still think Benavides versus Canelo would be a better fight and hype. Yeah, probably, but not this year. Not this year. And we'll get to Benavides in a little bit. But I think it's still a possibility, man, that they might, you know what? Let's just push it to the following weekend. So, don't be surprised if that happens. I haven't read anything on that. Okay. It's just me in my mind thinking that they possibly could do that. I want to go ahead and ask this, man. So we got Zapata coming up against Shakur Stevenson, right? They got the venue. It's in New York. It's in Queens, New York, and it is happening at a tennis court of some sort. I'm not that familiar with it, but apparently it's a nice area, whatever it may be. Um, that Times Square thing was a disaster. It was a complete disaster. Don't do it again. Okay? Do not do it again. I'm not completely upset at the Turk. He's trying new things and it's going to be hit and miss. Now, that right there, I hope he never tries it again. Not worth it. If you can't have a grandstand, if you can't have a big audience, if you can't, just don't. It sounded cool for a second, like, wow, Times Square. I've been to Times Square. That sucker is vibrant, man. That sucker is alive. So I was thinking something different, than what it was. And it's like, wow, that was a disaster, Holmes. Like, don't ever do that again. But he's trying like to do different things. I don't really mind it. Like I said, it's gonna be hit and miss here and there. I don't like when it's in Saudi Arabia. I'm putting a stamp on it, Holmes. All right. I don't like when it's on Saudi Arabia. The crowd is dead. I don't I don't like it out there. And look, man, I don't care what anybody calls me. I don't really dig their culture much. All right. I Whatever anybody wants to think about that, you think about that. But I don't really dig their culture too much, man. It just I'm not gonna make fun of it. Everybody's culture is everybody's culture. Hey, I thought madre, man. But over there, the grown men holding hands and like Haina's super duper duper covered up, and I just don't dig their culture much, dog. I don't want big fights happening over there. Yeah, it's an inconvenience for us over here because of the time difference and all that. But just on top of that, even when you you know what, let me put the comments up here. Let me see. Um, even when you watch it on TV, it's just like kind of it's bland. It's just like it's just kind of dead, dog. So I'm just like, I don't really dig it. Right. So the more he stays out of Saudi Arabia, the better it is, at least for me personally. Maybe some of you guys like it out there. I don't, and I'm not apologizing for what I said. Because that's exactly how I feel. Um, but trying some of these venues here and there, I don't mind it. Just don't do it with like the super duper big fights, like Canelo versus Crawford. Just find a stadium, Holmes. Just find a stadium. Okay, it's not gonna be at Allegiant Stadium. That's where you wanted it originally. Okay, find another stadium. Don't try to do something off the wall. Don't try to experiment with major fights. Do that with a little bit a tier or two down. Try to experiment with those. Like Zapata versus Shakur. I think that's a right fight to experiment with. Just hey dog, you go do it at a tennis court in Queens, New York, where there hasn't been a fight. Yeah, go try it out, man. Let me see. What's up, Demetrio? Canelo did say it's happening in Vegas. Okay. All right. Well, let's see where. It's not gonna be at Allegiant Stadium though. So unless he's gonna move it to an arena, which is a heck of a lot smaller, a heck of a lot smaller, which is not what the Turk wants. What's up, Demetrio? Yes, Canelo and Boots. Let me see. Hope they cancel it. Son of a gun. Turk doesn't understand the culture. I look, man. I mean, again, I ain't making fun of anybody's culture. Everybody's culture's your culture, homie. Do your thing, okay? And nobody is forced. And I understand. I'm not gonna get all on my soapbox here, okay? But we live in a time where it's like you have to love everything. Nah, chale, dog. I don't love everything. There's certain cultures I don't care for. That's one. I don't care for that culture. I don't care for grown men holding each other's hands. I don't care for, you know, wrapping up your women like they're mummies that you can't see anything on them. I don't. Anyway, I'll move on, dog. Um, Solo. Okay. Hey, what's up, Shawana? U.S. Open Complex in Queens. Okay, that's what it's called. Yes. Um, what's funny is that the property has two stadiums. Turk got the smaller one. I wonder why. I wonder why. Facts, no energy in Riyadh. No, no energy out there, dog. I don't. That's why I don't like it. If you're gonna experiment, here in the US, or in different places like you did in Times Square, I'd rather have you do that. Experiment, you'll win some and you'll lose some. Some will be a success and some will be a complete disaster, just like that Fatal Fury with Ryan and Rowley and Devin and all those guys. We'll get to them in just a second. Just like that was a disaster. But I'd much rather see you experiment here than go back to Saudi Arabia and have big fights over there, man. I want Canelo versus Berlanga at the U.S. Open. The bigger stadium holds 23,000. Okay, okay, 23,000. It's a good. I don't know about Canelo versus Berlanga again. You're right. Puerto Rican Run. You're right. AEW has held an event there. Yes, at that tennis court. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I heard top bid is New York and Las Vegas. So, okay. Um, Somebody put on here that Canelo said it's going to be in Vegas. I don't know. I don't know that to be true. I know the Turk has said LA, New York, and Vegas. That doesn't mean he can't change his mind. All right. Um, I don't want it in New York. Okay. Certain fight, you got to be smart about some of this stuff, dog. Okay. You're not gonna have Xander Zayas and Edgar Berlanga fighting on the same card. You're not going to put that fight in Los Angeles if they're not fighting any Mexicans. Okay, that fight you're going to put in New York. You got to understand the markets. All right, if that's why this fatal fury that he had with Ryan, Rowley, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez, Teofimo, Barbosa. I don't understand why they went to New York for that. All those dudes, with the exception of Teofimo, they're all from the West Coast. The- I I don't know if De La Hoya or Eddie Hearn are just a bunch of yes men. I don't know, because are they not telling the Turk, "Hey, listen, man, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to do something big in New York, in Times Square. Okay, these are not the fighters to do it. Okay, not these guys. Why? Because these guys are from the wild, wild West Side. You want to do something, go do it in downtown LA. Go do it in downtown Vegas on Fremont Street. We'll save that Times Square, New York idea for a fight that makes sense. Get a couple of New Yorkers, get some Boricuas, get somebody there. All those dudes, man, they're all West Coast dudes. Teofimo left New York when he was like 4 years old. So I I don't know. Maybe Oscar did tell him. Maybe they did tell him. Maybe this and the Turk is all like, I don't care, man. I'm gonna do it where I do it. I don't know. I don't know if they're just being a bunch of yes men. Like, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, Your Excellency. Yes, Your Excellency. Great idea. Awesome idea. Whatever you want. Instead of telling them like, hey, man, you know what? That's a good idea, but this isn't the fight to do it with. You gotta understand the markets. So Canelo versus Crawford. He mentioned New York. I hope they don't go to New York. It's just, is it still going to sell out? Yeah, it's still going to sell out. Now, if you stay in Vegas, I don't know where you're going to do it. He mentioned LA. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure they're looking at the schedules now, unless they go to an arena, unless they scrap the whole stadium idea and go to a regular arena. We'll see what happens there, man. Let's see. Solo, I didn't mean I want it. Canelo versus Berlanga. Oh, got you, Puerto Rican rum. Understood. Okay, I understood misunderstood your last comment, Spencer. That's why I said he doesn't understand the culture. He thinks all Latinos are the same. Hey, but you know what? Look, and you may be true. I mean, you may be right, Gordito. You may be right. You may be right. At the same time, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Holmes. Let's not beat around the bush. That whole area, that all Middle Eastern, I'll be honest with you guys, man. I kind of look at them like they're all the same. Saudi Arabia, Syria, Iraq, Iran. I don't know, dog. I know the names of the different countries, but to me, it's just like, all right, yeah, this that part of the world, this that part of the world, whatever, dog. So I get it. I understand it. There's I am a trucker, okay, and I deliver to a certain spot, a certain warehouse, and the receiver there, he's from Syria, not Saudi Arabia. He's from Syria, okay. And one time, I forgot where he was from, and I said like, "Hey man, so you're from Syria?" No, the Spencer. I said, "Hey, so you're from Saudi Arabia?" And he's all like, "No, Syria." I'm all like, oh, okay. He's all like, oh no, 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 not Saudi, man. Oh no. Like, like it was huge to him. Like, dog, don't like he was like, don't ever confuse him for a Saudi. He's from Syria. To me, I'm just like, I don't know, dog. These matos are all just right there, dog. Whatever. But he had this huge thing, like, bro, dog, don't ever. He had this attitude of like, dog, mistake me for a dog next time instead of a Saudi. Like I was like, damn, okay, hey, you're from Syria. I never forgot that he was from Syria and not from Saudi. After that, man, let me see. I was listening to a Mexican correspondent for Saudi for Canelo versus Gon. That was like 8 hours. Some of the crowd were sleeping. No pisto, no atmosphere, no nothing, no. Yeah, nah. I don't think Nelo ever going back. Well, probably not. Probably not. I wonder though, how's the money gonna be? Ben, over your excellency, I stay away. These guys are terrified of Turks. Straight yes, man. And by the way, dog, you don't need to be confrontational with him. You just need to tell him, like, hey, listen, Turk, that is a good idea. It's a good idea, but those aren't the fighters to do it. Here we have markets of where certain fighters are going to be better off at. You don't gotta be confrontational. You ain't gotta be like, you know what? You're an idiot for doing it over there. Or, no, don't do it. You just educate. I don't think Canelo will retire after this year. No, apparently he's got two more fights on the deal for next year. Um, see, they can't even do the Canelo fight Cowboy Stadium since Cowboy play that Sunday at home. Damn. Yeah, that would have been bad, man. Bad mother trucker. Gracias, dog. Let me see. That's like calling Slava, Truchas. Yeah, vatos get, especially like the big soccer fans, Holmes. You know what I mean? Dog. You start mistaking vatos sabatruchas, for Mexicanos and Guatemaltecos and dudes like that. Yeah, man, they start they getting at it. Yeah, my father used to refer to all Asians as chinos, and so many still do. So many still do. So nobody really makes the distinction of the difference of everybody just says chinos, right? But there's so many Koreans in it. Anyway, let's get back to boxing, dog. So, all right. So Dana White, he's not promoting this fight. We do not know where the venue's at. It could be possible that the Turk might push this to the following week. That's just me guessing. Okay. We'll see what happens with that. Now, there's a few things I wanted to talk on here, or talk about. Let me see. Are you surprised that Turk isn't holding a grudge against Shakur for referring to Saudis as towelheads? Really? Well, he might do him dirty. Who knows, man? Who knows? Maybe Zepeda's got this fight won already, and nobody, on the down low, man. So I'll tell you, man. Okay, let's here. I want to share something with you guys. I want to talk about this right here. Watcha. All right, let's listen up real quick since we're talking about what happened in Times Square. Let's hear this out.
Hey Oscar, so why no more rematches? Because of the loss, or I know I'm retired. You guys are trying to build up to another fight?
Rematch.
It'd be hard to go back Devin to and all Ryan. That on weekends. Oh, you okay?
But it just doesn't. It just doesn't merit a rematch. I don't think it really. I mean,
thank you. There are days I miss it.
Devin
But
actually lost. Winning. His stock is super down. I mean, everybody's talking. I'm not. I'm just stating facts here. People are talking about him just being
thank you.
a runner, like a not a boxer. There's something about a boxer like Pernell Whitaker, like Meldrick Taylor, like Sweet Pea. Those are boxers. Beautiful. This guy's a runner. Why would I want to see that? Right?
He's just a wonderful human.
Okay, okay, all right. Now, Oscar, he's not lying. Okay, uh, he's not lying, but he's not telling the whole truth. And without telling the whole truth, you're lying. See, he could come out and say like, "Hey, I wasn't lying," and he didn't. He did not lie, but he didn't tell the whole truth. Everybody remember that. You could tell the truth, but when you don't tell the whole truth, you're telling a lie. Notice how he did not mention Ryan. See, he's just putting it all on Devin Haney, right? So the question was asked, "Hey, is that dead? Is that gone? Why no rematch?" Now I wanted something interesting here. I'm not sure if people picked up on it because earlier they were asking about uh, um, let me see. I'll make sure I get it right. Because they were asking him about Ryan Garcia, and he was talking about Ryan. Here, let me play this part one more time, just so you guys can see. All right, listen to when they bring up rematch.
Loss, or I know I'm retired. You guys are trying to build up to another fight?
Rematch.
It'd be hard to go back Devin and Ryan. That on weekends. Oh, you okay?
Rematch. Okay, so he's open to a rematch. Okay, rematch, but he's not open to the Devin Haney rematch. All right. They had asked him earlier about Rowley. So Oscar is open to a Ryan versus Rowley rematch, which in all reality, I'm probably more interested in that than the Devin Haney rematch. But so seems like he's open to that. That's why he wanted to be clear. He's all like rematch, like which one we talking about here? And when he brought up Devin Haney, he let it be known, like, nah, Devin Haney lost a lot of stock. And he did. He did. Devin Haney did lose a lot of stock, but he didn't bring up Ryan. Ryan dropped a complete dud. Complete dud. The only difference between Ryan and Haney that night is that Haney got the victory via decision. That is it, man. I mean, you could throw the knockdown in there as well, but that is it because both of them look like trash, dog. So the fact that Oscar just comes out and he's just throwing Haney under the bus, which I have no problem with because his performance was garbage. But you're not mentioning Ryan Garcia at all. His performance was garbage. You're telling half the truth there, Oscar. By the way, not to mention all your fighters that night, they all lost. So do I want to see Ryan versus Haney again? Uh, it's lost steam. It's lost steam. If it happens again, that's fine. I'll watch it. But yeah, it's lost some steam. It would have been a heck of a lot better if both of them came out with a good victory. A good victory. But yeah, it's definitely lost steam. But if they do it again, I'll watch it. It's just not gonna be the same. Here's the difference though between those two guys. I'll get to you guys' comments in a second. But here's the difference between those two guys. Okay. One guy won, which is Haney. One guy lost, which was Ryan, and he really did lose. It wasn't like, oh, it was a controversial judge's call. No, he really did lose that fight. He really did beat him. Here's the difference between the winner that night and the loser that night is that the one that lost that night can still sell more than the one who won that night. You get Haney and you get Ryan, put them in there against a complete tomato can, right? Who sells more? That let's bring if Dimitro's still on here, he likes to throw out Yorioki's Gamboa. All right, let's throw Yorioki's Gamboa out there. If Haney fights Yorioki's Gamboa next, and Ryan fights Yorioki's Gamboa next, which one's gonna sell more? Who are people gonna tune in more? Haney won his fight. Ryan did not. Now people can say like, "Wow, that's because of his social media. That's because it could be okay." That's not what I'm talking about. He still sells more. He marketed himself more. So Haney right now finds himself in a pretty bad situation because he's a free agent. He does not have a promoter. And if he's not getting this Ryan Garcia rematch, what the heck else is he going to do? Dropping a dud like that? See, Ryan, at the very, very least, and I'm not defending Ryan here because Ryan's performance was trash, homie. And now I kind of do believe a little bit more that maybe he was on that Austrian, whatever the heck that is. I don't know I don't even know what that is. And then hearing that, oh, Ryan felt tired. Kind of makes me think about things, man. Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe this Vato really was doing some dirty stuff, right? But the difference here is that Ryan still sells more than Devin. So Devin and his dad can go wolfing around all they want, talking about that they won their fight and Ryan looked like trash and Ryan lost to Rolly. Yeah, and you're not lying. You're right. But you guys can't sell anything, man. Did Ryan's stock go down a little bit? Yeah, it did. He'll still outsell Devin Haney 2, 3 times more. So I think the Haneys need to push for this match. I don't know what else they got going for them. Now there was rumors about, hey, what about Haney fighting Rolly Romero? Both of those guys won. Very true. Now there's rumors that Rolly is gonna sit and wait to take on the winner of Barrios and Pacquiao. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. I don't know. But Ryan's loss, it hurt him, but it didn't hurt him that bad. He still have some star power. He's still gonna sell, especially if you compare him to Devin Haney. Is it because he's a social media guy? Is it because whatever, for whatever reason, he still get bring in more cash. So now Devin Haney, he's in a spot, man, where he's thinking he's gonna get some sort of big payday. No, homie, you're not, dog. Not without Ryan. And I don't even think the Turkey's even gonna mess with you like that anymore. So even in Devin Haney's win, he lost more than anything else. He lost more than Ryan. But for the Oscar to come out and just put it all on Devin Haney, dog, your fighter, homie. Like I said, all your fighters lost that night, and your fighter lost, and he looked like trash. But it looks like Oscar is open to a Ryan versus Rolly rematch. I don't know if Rolly's really gonna be waiting for Pacquiao versus Barrios. He might. Depends how much money they throw his way. So, let me see what you guys are saying here. Because there's something else I want to talk about here. Make them fight Rayo. Belongs to the casual fans now. Boxing heads on the outside looking in. Ah, yeah. Fuck. Man, I don't even know where I left off anymore. But anyway, Ryan showed up in a Batman. Yeah, he showed up in the Batmobile. He should have had Robin come out and fight for him, dog. Robin would have done a lot better. Because if he was trying to beat Batman that night, Robin would have done a heck of a lot better. Haney is in a tough position. There's no one he can get an easy win. Nah, he can't. He can't. And there's no money for him. Actually, he's a free agent. He doesn't have a promoter. So now a promoter has to say, like, you know what? I want Devin Haney because I'm gonna make money with that guy. What promoter is out there is gonna say that? Ryan still has Oscar, and Ryan still sells by himself. But Haney, he's a free agent. He has no promoter. You think there's gonna be promoters out there lining up to get this cash cow on their side? Mm, do you know Devin was originally in talks to fight Indofo Delgado, but settled for Ramirez, I assume, because it was an easier fight? Well, yeah, it could have been. Haney can beat Barrios. Can he? Can he? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not sure. Sad to see such a good talent go to waste. Speaking of Ryan Garcia, ah, yeah, Pastor, shouts to you, Pastor. Pastor Zamora right there. Ryan, he always just had hand speed and power. If he worked on his craft a little bit more, he could have been something better, right? But oh well. But anyway, man, let me see. Let me get to the last subject here, but let me go through these last few comments. Devin runs Rayo. The last thing can afford is still be marketable. Cholo. LOL. Shawana. I never thought I would live in a world where Rolly is a potential two-way. Oh man. Damn. Is anybody gonna be a Rolly Romero fan if he does become two-time champion, dog, in two different weight classes? Damn. Damn. Anyone beats Barrios? Oh, come on, gordito. Let's not do all that, man. Barrios is not a great boxer. He's not. But he brings it. I think he can overwhelm Devin Haney. I do, man. I don't think Devin Haney. Look, first of all, this fight isn't even in talks, right? And by the way, I'm not even so sure Barrios when he fights Pacquiao, can Pacquiao stand a chance? 46, 47-year-old Pacquiao? Yeah, I think he does. But I think Barrios is going to just overwhelm him. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe Pacquiao does beat him. But Barrios versus Haney? Give me Barrios, dog. Devin Haney does not have the punches to keep a fighter off of him. Jose Ramirez, if he would put the pedal to the metal and throw some chingazos, dog, he could have beat Haney. He could have. Haney does not have power. Haney did not have power at 135. He didn't have power at 140. He doesn't have power at 147. He's a good boxer, moves around the ring a lot. A little bit soft when it comes to the jaw. Gets dazed. I give it to him. He'll get back up and he'll fight. I give that to him definitely. But I think Barrios can overwhelm him with punches. I don't think Haney's gonna hurt him. Uh, Rayo can beat Devin Cholo. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. 135, 140, trash right now. Too many wokesters. What's up, Pete Town? Armando Barrios is a tough out for anybody. I think so. I think he's tough for everybody because he brings it. He brings it. He's not a great boxer. Okay, he's not a great boxer, but he brings it. He reminds me like of Josecito Lopez. He'll bring it. All right, hard to believe Ramirez is 32. The way he looked last, yeah, man, yeah. Barrios looked terrible against Abel Ramos. Yeah, but I mean, it's just Abel Ramos is the same thing. They're just two dudes that just let's come and let's just fight. Let's just fight. So neither one of them are great. Ronaldo looked terrible against Gary Antoine Russell. Hmm? All right, let's talk about this. Let me get this out of here. I want to talk about this Chavez Jake Paul fight that I really want to see. But before we do that, first of all, let me take that down. I still get that. Okay. I want to show you guys something, dog. Okay. Now this is when Canelo was gonna fight Chavez Jr. Does anybody remember the year? I don't remember. I don't know, 2016, 17, 2015. I don't know. If somebody lets me know, maybe Pitbull versus Haney for sure. He can outbox him. But Pitbull is a super small guy, and now that Haney's at 147, yeah. All right, when did Canelo? Okay, 2016. All right, 2016. That's when they fought. Okay, all right, okay. Now this is when HBO was still in boxing. HBO used to do the face-off, right? Okay. Here you got two Mexican fighters from Mexico in Canelo and Chavez Jr. doing the face-off. Okay, let I because I'm gonna make a point. Just I'm getting somewhere. You guys just hang on. I am getting somewhere with this. Watch out.
Con los mejores campeones que hay ahorita en este momento. No veo por qué dice eso.
Okay, so you guys hear Canelo, he's speaking español, right? All right.
Peleo con otros peleadores que quieren subir de peso, peleo con quien sea grande, chicos. Ahora, ¿qué puedo decir? Estamos en esta pelea y nomás voy a esperar el 6 de mayo para que se dé cuenta de lo que es el Canelo.
Julio, what do you think about that?
The people tell a lot of criticize of him because he fought American.
You guys see that earpiece that Canelo has on his left ear? That is for translation. That's how they used to do these things. And they still do them. They're not called face-offs anymore because I was back at HBO. Okay. But all right, let's see if you guys are getting what I'm putting down here.
You can if Jan Smith, because it's Triple G there, other guys, but he pick other opponent and don't take the risk.
So the difference here, because he's also smaller than you, and you're fighting him, which is the same criticism you're giving him for fighting smaller fighters. Why doesn't that criticism apply to you for fighting a smaller man?
Because he put away, 164.5, because he think and he sacrificed me for my weight.
Okay. All right. I just want to go ahead and prove a little point right here, right? and that is that then Chavez Jr. wanted to show off his Ingles, right? You're fighting against another Mexican from Mexico, from your home country, but you want to speak Espanol, right? I'm sorry, you want to speak English, right? You want to speak English, okay? Now, here we are so many years later. He has this press conference with Jake Paul, and guess what? Now he needs a translator. And by the way, this was actually pretty good. Hold on. Damn it. Where is that? Here we go. I am excited for this.
Fight's been brewing for quite some time now. The fans have wanted to see this, and I want to continue to elevate and rise my opponents. And this is a former world champion. He has an amazing resume, following in his dad's footsteps and, coming short, of course. But
Okay. All right. Let's be honest right here, okay? All right. We're not gonna break this down too much, but does Chavez Jr. have a great resume? Does he have a great resume? I don't know if I'd use the term great. He's been in there with some guys. I don't know if I say great. Chavez Jr. went to high school in Riverside, and his English still sucks. Hey, Martin 9400. I didn't know that. I didn't know he went to high school in Riverside. All right, let's see. Let's go.
this guy is a great fighter, and I want to test myself against the best in the world.
You heard Oscar say.
All right, hang on, Jake. Hang on, Jake. You want to test yourself against the best of the world? I get it. You're promoting. You're promoting. Okay. If you want to test yourself against the best of the world, this is not that guy. Okay. It's not.
Say that the experience on this man's resume includes going 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez. How important is it to you to do what Canelo on that night could not and stop Julio Cesar Chavez?
I'm going to shock the world once again and prove how good I am, how powerful I am. This is his toughest fight to date, and I'm going to embarrass him and make him quit like he always does.
All right. That's good promotion. Let me see. Let me get that down. They're going to put a commercial in there. All right. I mean, good promotion. Now him talking a little bit of smack. That's cool. But I mean, all the other stuff, like, hey, he wants to test himself against the best. Again, I get it. You're promoting. But yeah, Chavez Jr. is nowhere near that, man. Let me see. I think that Junior was, I think Junior's way of slowing down the conversation. You know what, Carlos M? Could have been. Could have been. And also, when he was in front of Canelo, he probably wanted to psych Canelo out because at that time, Canelo wasn't really speaking English. Now he speaks a little bit more English, right? So maybe he just kind of wants to psych him out. Like, hey, look how much better I am than you. I'm over here speaking English. I guess. I don't know. But here we are in this press conference, and now he needs a translator.
Up to this press event that he sees a renewed spirit in his son. He says he has never seen his son this focused going into the fight. Is that what you want? Do you want the best of Julio Cesar Chavez?
Yeah,
Jr.?
I don't want any excuses. And when I beat this man, all the boxing media, like you guys always do, are going to discredit it. But I'm going to expose him and I'm going to embarrass him. You know, he's the embarrassment of Mexico. Mexico doesn't even claim him, and he's going to get exposed on June 28th. And then the boxing media will have all these excuses. But I don't want them to be having these excuses because they say he's training hard. They say this is the most focused he's ever been. Good. And as he should be, because people don't realize how good I actually am. And when he feels those first punches, he's going to want to quit and go back to his stool.
We've seen you.
Oh, dog. He said Mexico doesn't even claim him. Okay. All right. a few things that he said there. Okay. Um, are people going to make excuses if Jake Paul wins? I believe so. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. If I'm saying look, I'm letting it be known. I let it be known a while back, dog. Okay, before this fight was even announced. If this fight happens, I'm gonna be rooting for Jake Paul. I never liked Chavez Jr. Okay, but I'm telling everybody right now, if Chavez Jr. really got his act together, I think he beats the dog doodles out of Jake Paul. If he got his act together.
You, we've seen you move around at different types of events, events like you had last year against Mike Tyson, some of the more traditional boxing matches. This is maybe a little bit of both. You've got a former champion sitting over here.
Hey, Mark, PYP Boxing, I see you. I see I see the list. Andy Lee, Peter Manfredo. Yeah, I see it. You call that great? I didn't say his resume wasn't good. Jake Paul said he has a great resume. First of all, man, Peter Manfredo. I mean, come on, dog. Would anybody know who Peter Manfredo was if he wasn't in the show The Contender? Andy Lee, yeah, good. Zebek, sure. Sergio Martinez, Canelo, he lost against those guys. I mean, yeah, he's fought some guys. Yeah, definitely. The top names that you have on there, he lost to. I would say he's got a good resume. I mean, to me, look, it's like Canelo, right? Hey, does Canelo have a great resume? Well, yeah, he fought Mayweather. Okay, but he lost as well. I don't know how much stock you really want to put into that in when it comes to a loss. Now, if it's a controversial loss and the fighter went, fought life and death with them, that's a different story. But a loss, he lost.
To the left with a big name. Does this signal to the boxing world that you're looking to get back on that championship path, the pursuit of a world title?
Yeah, look, I always said it. I'm going to fight really tough people and I'm going to fight big money fights. This is prize fighting. And so I'm giving the fans what they want with every single fight, taking on tougher opponents. And this is just that.
I can't help but notice it's a cruiserweight fight. The co-main event is a cruiserweight world title. If you look just to your right, there are two belts sitting there on the stage. Is it at all in your mind, if you beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., that a matchup with that man, Zurdo Ramirez, might not be far behind?
Yeah, 100%, man. This is what I came here to do, is become world champion and to create one of the greatest sports stories the world has ever seen. Going from Disney Channel to YouTube to world champion in 6 to 7 years, that's the most relatable and best sports story that any kid can get behind. And that's what I'm here to do, is inspire the next generation and do what no one's ever done before in the world's hardest sport, which is boxing.
You face some hostile environments.
All right. Okay. It is the world's hardest sport, Jake Paul. And let me go ahead and tell you, that's never going to happen. And this is coming from a fan of Jake Paul. I actually happen to like Jake Paul while so many people hate him. It is never going to happen. Now, that is one thing that I wanted to get to right here. Now, word is with the whole David Benavides thing and Zurdo Ramirez, there was talks about possibly Benavides going and fighting Zurdo, right? Well, now there's big rumors out there from some real credible sources that the winner of Jake and Chavez will fight the winner of Zurdo. I'm not even sure who he's fighting, which I think this fight is just made for Zurdo to win. So it could be possible that we possibly see Jake Paul versus Zurdo Ramirez. If that happens, Zurdo will beat the dog doodles out of Jake Paul, hands down, homie. It's not even close. It's not it's no way is it near a competition. It will be a slaughter. I don't know how any state will sanction that fight, because the only way that Jake Paul stands a chance against Zurdo is if they pay Zurdo to take a dive or to make it competitive. Against Chavez Jr., I think he stands a little bit of a chance, yeah. But I think it's ridiculous that now the Benavides talk against Zurdo is off the table. That's why now you're starting to hear Benavides in talks with, going back to the whole Colum Smith thing, going back to the whole Anthony Yard thing, right? So now there were talks of Benavides fighting Zurdo, going up to cruiserweight and fighting Zurdo. That's off the table now. Why is that off the table? Well, because there could be a big payday with Zurdo versus Jake Paul. If Jake Paul beats Chavez Jr., now why would Zurdo fight Benavides? He could fight Jake Paul, and there you go. And by the way, he'll kill Jake Paul, dog. I mean, murder the dude, Holmes. So now Benavides is off the table. So now we see the return of talks of him and Colum Smith or Anthony Yard. Let's get to well, let me just
in the past, the
finish
Nate
up
Diaz fight being one of them. But this might be the most hostile you've walked into. Southern California, 2 Mexicans on the card. What do you think about fighting in this type of atmosphere?
Man, the Mexicans love me, bro. Like, I'm stepping into my home environment. They love me more than they love this guy. You know, Mexico doesn't even claim him. So that's just the way it is. And I love my Mexican fans, and they've always been rocking with me since day one. And I'm going to show him who the real Mexican warrior is.
All right.
Oh, dog. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Hang on. Look, call it what you want. I do like Jake Paul. I'm rooting for Jake Paul in this fight. I think it's stupid, dumb, idiotic that he's gonna get a chance to fight Zurdo if Zurdo comes out with the victory. But you know what? To a lot of you guys that hate Jake Paul and want him to fight some real competition, you're possibly gonna get what you want. That's why there's no more talks. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but that's why there's no more talks of Benavides going up to cruiserweight and fighting Zurdo, because now it looks like this is on the table. Should both of them win. And for all you guys that hate Jake Paul and think he's a disgrace to boxing and thinks he has no place in boxing, he should fight a real boxer, a real fighter, one of the top guys because he thinks he's all chingon. Well, now it's possible that you might get that. Zurdo will beat dog. He'll good gosh, dog. Chavez Jr. There's nothing Mexico. God gosh, man. Jake is murdering. It was a good press conference. So Chucker can beat Jake Paul. Oh man, dog. Hey, look, this is why. Okay, look, there's a few reasons why I like Jake Paul. Right. One is he's really putting in the work. Okay, he really is. He's a multi-millionaire, but he's really putting in the work. He's doing a lot for boxing. All right. He started MVP, brought up the women's boxing is having like this resurrection, right? So they're starting to come up a little bit more from what it was back in the day. And even back in the day, it wasn't like that big, but it's probably bigger now than ever before. So I mean, he's doing good for the sport, So I don't hate the dude. I don't care if he keeps on fighting MMA dudes, washed up dudes. That's fine. That's where his talent level is at. He's never gonna be great. He's never gonna be one of these world champions. Yeah, he may say that. He lost to Tommy Fury. I don't even know who the heck Tommy Fury fought last week or 2 weeks ago. Somebody let me know. Tommy Fury just fought. How many of you guys watched it? I didn't. I didn't even know who the heck Tommy Fury was. I'm like, orale, Tyson Fury has a brother? I didn't know who that dude was. And he just fought like last week or the week before. I forgot. He fought on a Friday. I didn't watch it. I didn't care. The only reason why I ever saw Tommy Fury fight was because he fought Jake Paul. That was it. I don't know who this dude is. Now I'm starting to wonder who's more of a threat to Jake, Tommy or Chavez Jr.? I don't know. You see, yeah, half brother. Oh, they're half brothers. Okay, I say Chavez Jr. quits in the fifth. Well, he quit against Daniel Jacobs. He did quit against him. Yeah, and him and brother make boxing and pro wrestling cool. So sure we need for the game, the longevity for both. I I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue. People look, I'm a big wrestling fan, right? Tomorrow is Saturday night's main event. I'll be tuned in. It's a slow boxing week. Uh I like Logan Paul. He's doing good over there too. I hate the dudes. I'm not telling anybody to like these guys. Hate them all you want, but they do take it serious. Logan Paul is actually pretty damn good wrestler in the ring. Jake Paul, for what he's doing for his competition level, I think he's doing all right. But not just on top of that, starting MVP and getting something else going in boxing, and he stays busy, yeah, against washed up dudes and silly matches like that. But then again, who the hell is he? He's some Disney star that went YouTube that's now picked up boxing. All right, hang on, Spencer. I didn't put it up. Here we go. Spencer. All right, here we go.
Jake is crazy. I think he's overrated. He's not fight anybody in his life. He's fighting all my Tyson.
And I beat Anderson Silva, who whooped your ass.
He ain't lying about that. He's not lying about that.
Okay, bullshit.
No, I don't think I need to translate that. Dime, Julio.
El día 28 vamos a ver qué onda con él.
July 28th,
Porque,
June 28th, he's going to see what's up.
mira, para empezar,
To start off,
nunca noqueado a nadie.
he's never knocked anybody out.
Dime a uno que haya noqueado.
Give me one name he's knocked out.
Uno.
Just one.
Knockout.
Es como si yo peleara con mi papá. Aunque él es mejor que yo, lo puedo noquear.
It's like if I fought with my dad, even though he's better than me, but he's just old.
All right, he knocked out Nate Robinson. He knocked out that freaking stupid wrestler dude that went in there. I don't even really care about that. The point that I was trying to make is this. That's why I showed you guys the old footage. Okay, so go back to what, 2016? Oh, he's speaking English. He's speaking English to Canelo Alvarez, who was still trying to learn English at that time. Right now, Canelo speaks a little bit more fluent English to a certain degree. Okay, but Chavez Jr. could have just been speaking Spanish to him. Two Mexicanos, two guerreros, right? Speaking their native tongue to each other. But no, Chavez Jr. wanted to sit down and show off that, hey, I know English. So I'm going to speak English while, you got to put your earpiece on to translate so you can understand what I'm saying because I'm speaking English. Okay, here we are, 9 years later, and now he needs a translator to a guy that speaks English. That's the part that I'm trying to point out. What the hell is this guy doing? What the hell is this guy doing? Now, am I picking on him a little bit too much? I don't know. Maybe. I've said it before. I don't really like the dude. But it's just strange to me. Push rewind and go back 8, 9 years ago. You're speaking to a guy from your native country. Both of you speak Spanish, and you decide to speak English to him while he's speaking Spanish to you. Make him put on an earpiece to translate, even though you speak better Spanish than you do English. And by the way, I give it up to him. I look, man, I give it up to anybody who picks up a second language, especially later on in life. It's harder. When you're a little kid and your parents teach you, English and Spanish, that's easy. I don't know why people take credit for that. It's when you grow up and you try to learn a different language. That's what makes it hard. But now here you are. Now is your time to shine, Holmes. And you've had 8, 9 years to improve. Now is your time to shine. You wanted to show off that you could speak English to a native Mexicano. Well, why are you over there with the translator? Dile esto. Dile que, for what, dog? You speak English, right? Because that's what you were doing 8, 9 years ago. Why aren't you doing it now? Now is your time to shine with your English. Heck, almost a decade later, it should have got better. So I don't know, man. I don't know if this dude really got it together.
I
Me
feel
siento muy
very
bien.
good. I feel refreshed and renewed. I didn't get blows to the head, so I'm a lot better than he is.
What do you think you have to do to win on June 28th?
Prepararme al 100 y ser el mejor que puedo ser, porque sé que no está fácil, está fuerte, pero preparándome al 100% sé que lo voy a ganar.
I need to prepare 100%. This is an interesting fight. It might not be easy, but I'm gonna do the best I can to be the best person I am. But I think I'm gonna take him.
I'd like to ask Julio Sr., you've said that you've seen something different in your son coming into this fight. What have you seen?
¿Que has visto algo
What do you
diferente? ¿Te traduzco?
Por favor.
Que has visto algo diferente en tu hijo ahora. ¿Qué es lo que ves?
Lo veo muy, muy bien enfocado, gracias a Dios. Con todo respeto que le tengo a Jet Paul. Así como está entrenando Julio, tenía yo años que no lo miraba entrenar como está entrenando ahora. No hay manera, no hay por dónde.
Does anybody know how old Chavez Jr. is? If you guys could let me know, how old is he, man? I don't know how old he is, Chavez Jr. How many months is Chavez Jr. removed from rehab? 3, 4 months? Something like that. I hear something around that length. And Rocky 6, Chavez is one of the nicest people on earth. Stop it. Oh, Mark, stop, man, stop. And maybe he is. No. Hey, Martin, I'm not talking about Chavez Sr. Chavez Jr. How old is Chavez Jr.? If Chavez Sr. is 62, how old is Chavez Jr.? Look, Mark, PYP Boxing, shouts to Putesas y Pendejadas. I know that you met him, and he probably is a nice dude. I'm not saying he's not. I didn't say he's mean. You could be a nice guy and be a complete pendejo at the same time. And that's what I think he is, man. He's 39. Okay, he's 39. Got it.
Jet Paul le puede ganar a mi hijo. Así como está entrenando, como está preparando. Con todo respeto, pero no vamos a chingar a este cabrón.
I've never seen him train like this. He's very.
He sounded much more confident than his son. I don't know, dog. Chavez Jr. is over there messing around with his glasses. He grabs a hat. He's there, put it on. He takes it back off.
Focused. The way he's training right now, I have never seen that before. There is no way.
No hay
No
por
way.
dónde, no hay por dónde, no hay por dónde.
Where there is.
Así como se está preparando Julio, si sigue así hasta la pelea, no hay por dónde le gane Jet Paul, porque Jet Paul no es peleador.
With all due respect to Jake Paul,
He had to say that because Chavez, I don't know, dog. You know what? I think I'm starting to convince myself that Jake Paul's going to win this fight.
the way Julio is training right now, there is no way, no how that Jake Paul can beat my son. No way. With the way.
He does not look confident, dog. Chavez Sr., who's a legend, he looks confident. Junior, he just looks so uncomfortable right now.
that he's working out right now.
Jake, I'd imagine that's what you want to hear, right? That, whatever he's gone through in the past, that he's going to be on his very best on fight night.
Yeah, we'll see, and I think it can be short-lived, but that's not a champion's mindset to when you get a big fight, all of a sudden you start training hard. I train as hard as possible no matter who I'm fighting, and that just shows you the type of person he is.
All right. That's it, man. I don't want to go through all this. Anyway, let me take that down. All right, so let me go ahead and ask you guys this, man. Is this the toughest fight that Jake Paul's ever had? Is Tommy Fury better than Chavez Jr.? Which one's more dangerous? I will say this, man. I will say I never heard of Tommy. I never heard of the dude. Okay. I think Chavez packs a much bigger, powerful punch than Tommy. Okay. I've been wanting this fight for a while. Okay. I've been calling for this fight for a while because I think both of these guys match up pretty good. If Chavez is training and he cleaned up his act, I don't see how Jake Paul can win this fight. I can see how Jake Paul can hang in there. It's an 8-round fight and make it to the end, but I don't see how he can win this fight. Who am I rooting for in this fight? I'm rooting for Jake. I don't like Chavez Jr. Never have. He's undisciplined. And look, respects to him. He's gone through some demons and drug and alcohol abuse, man. And I don't talk down on that. It's just he's just a I don't nah dog. If there's if there's any of this, an embarrassment to boxing, right? When people talk about Jake Paul, and that's fine. I don't defend Jake Paul. I don't care, dog. Call him an embarrassment to boxing. I don't care, dog. But if there is one between these two dudes, I think Chavez Jr. is more an embarrassment to boxing. With his hot pink underwear that he was prancing around in on that whatever I forgot it was HBO 24/7 or Showtime's All Access. I forgot. So who am I rooting for in this fight? Jake Paul. Do I think Jake Paul has a chance to win after watching this like this? Chavez Jr. doesn't seem confident to me, man. But if Chavez Jr. comes, completely ready to go, man, if he really cleaned up his act, yeah. Yeah, but I am looking forward to this fight. All right, man. Last few ones before I call it a night here. Let me see. Nice guy. Robert Garcia has gone on the record saying Chavez Sr. is an asshole. I never met either one of them. I've never met either one of them. Chavez Sr. will always be a legend. He'll always be a legend, to the raza, to the Mexicanos. The man can do no wrong. He will always be a legend. He may be an a-hole, dog. He may be some dude. He may be the guy of that fits in that category. Never meet your heroes, right? He may be that guy. Suck as a boxer, couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. Chavez Jr. doesn't stand a chance. Damn. Let me see. I wish I had my dad for me. Why does he have his dad right there? And now he needs a translator. See, that's the part. I don't know if anybody else caught that. As soon as I saw that press conference and I saw that Chavez Jr. now needed a translator, the first thing that came to mind was that episode of Face Off. Because that episode of Face Off always stood out to me because as I watched it, I was always thinking, why are you just not speaking Spanish, dog? Like, why aren't you when Miguel Cotto and Antonio Margarito, when they were fighting each other, they were both speaking Spanish to each other. Yeah, every now and then, Cotto, when he was answering Max's question, he would answer him in English, but he's talking to him, right? But for the most part, they talk Spanish back to one another. That's why it stuck to me. I'm like, what are you doing, dog? Spanish is your first language. Like, speak Spanish to Canelo. And then when I saw this, I'm like, good gosh, you gotta be kidding me, dog. Now we need a translator. Okay. All right. Anyway, man, call Angelo versus Kameda. I was the start on the West Coast. I think it's like 8 o'clock or something like that. But yeah, there's some stuff going on, man. There's some fights going on. Most of it in Japan. But Josh Taylor just fight tomorrow as well. Marcus here is a very humble guy. Seems like it. Seems like it. All right, man. I'm gonna get up out of here. Let me see. Mikey has Paul Chavez Jr. 16-12 3. Look, I told you guys who I'm rooting for, man. Anyway, man. Hey, check this out. It's Memorial Day weekend, man. All right. You guys be blessed. You guys have a great one. If you guys got a long weekend, remember what the I don't know if I should say holiday, but the what the remembrance of Memorial Day actually is. If you have a family member or you know a friend or their family is still behind, keep them in prayers, man, because they'll never get that family member behind, whether you agree with the war they were in or not. That's not the point. The point is they went out there, they fought their heart out all the way to the grave, and that's something that you just cannot take back, dog. So you guys enjoy Memorial Day weekend, and we will be back next week. I'll probably drop a video or two during the week, but we'll be back next Friday because next Friday we got to talk about the return of the great undefeated Jamal Charlo. Damn, I know you guys are excited. Man, I know you vatos are excited. We'll get to it next Friday. Cholo, Choclos, Tres Chingones, Boxing, Shouts out to Chingones y Chingonas. Catch you guys on next round.